Sup, guys? Excuse me. Max here. Uh, Entry one of millions to come from the Pizza Mysteries YouTube channel. Um, I contemplated making this like an introductory video talking about myself and my walk in faith and my hobbies and stuff and my favorite color and yeah. I'll save that for a later date. I'll get to it eventually. Right now, I'd much rather remain a man of mystery. So just gonna dive right in. Um, so let's talk about change. And when I say change, I don't mean like change the noun. I don't mean like a change occurs in your life and you're like, I don't mean that. I mean change like the verb. Um, like as in you take a look at yourself and you go, that ain't right. You know, maybe you sit down and you look at your priorities and you have like God here and something else is up here. You know, something like that, or you have, or the worst thing, and how it often tends to be, is you have God here, and then you have something else like right here, and they're like right next to each other. That sucks. So, and when I say sit down and look at your life, um, sometimes people do that. I mean, sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes it just kind of you just kind of feel like you really aren't going in the right direction, or something along those lines. You can fill in the blanks. You can extrapolate from what I'm talking about. As poorly worded as my sentences might be, my point still stands. So, change. How to change and what it entails. It's a very simple process. The whole thing is very simple. And it has two parts. Just two. Part one is, to summarize it quite eloquently, it basically involves you going to God and saying, help. Basically involves you being humble enough to go to God, admit your own weakness. It involves you being willing to own up to yourself. It involves you being willing to acknowledge how powerful God really is. It's not just involving admitting your own weakness. It also involves admitting that God is the opposite of your weakness. It involves you casting your burdens onto Him, and admitting that He can take them. To also put it in another somewhat eloquent phrasing, it involves you admitting that you cannot solve your human problems with human solutions. You need something bigger than people to solve them. If you follow that, so keep that in mind. Part two, and this is the difference between those who change and those who make progress and those who don't. Part two involves you. This is where you come in. This is where the rubber meets the road. Um, basically, uh, to to I'll start this off with a little biblical uh, shenanigans. Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you ask God to change you, you need to act like you've been changed. You can't just keep on plowing into the mess that you are constantly trying to get out of. That doesn't solve anything, and it just digs you into a deeper hole. You have to actually make an effort and make a point to look at yourself and go, okay, this is what I need to mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever, do to pull myself out of here. You have to do something with the strength that God gives you. In other words, you can't just wish for it to go away. God's more than willing to help, but if you don't live the life that He expects you to live and He calls you to live, then it doesn't do any good. Forgiveness only goes as far as uh, as redemption. That's the best. You know, it can't do you any good if you don't act like you know you're saved. If you don't act like you want a better life. I speak in very dramatic terms when I say you want a better life. Like, you know, I'm talking about somebody who's like trying to overcome like some addiction or something, which might be true. I'm not gonna dwell on giving you examples of how this applies. Like I said, you can fill in the blank. Um, we are dealing with, you know, your life here and your salvation here and the afterlife. You know, that's implied. So it's kind of a big deal. So I'm not being as dramatic as I might sound. Anyway, you get my point that how it works is God takes your burdens and you walk away from your old life. You walk away from, you know, being lazy. I said I wouldn't give examples. I lied. You know, you walk away from smoking. You walk away from, you know, whatever thing that you know is coming between you and your walk in Christ. And sometimes it really is a step-by-step process. Sometimes it literally is a step-by-step process where you have to stop yourself and say, whoa, and you have to physically walk away from a person or you know, a place or something like that. And you know, it can be a day by day thing. It can be you know, you have to wake up in the morning and go, okay, today I'm not going to blank, or I'm going to blank, or I want to blank, you know, something like that. And and eventually that becomes a week by week process, a month by month process. You know, you got to start somewhere. If you want to really change your life, you'll start, and then the rest is just you just keep going. Like I said, it's a process sometimes. Not everybody can just quit cold turkey. Um, um, what was I going to say? Holding your thought. I mentioned, sometimes you have to actually, get a hold of your. You have to think about what you're doing, what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Um, I'll just briefly mention this because it's kind of relevant. Whatever Bible verse it is about taking every thought captive, um, you have to hold yourself accountable. Uh, just a little side point. Because in the end, you're the one who strayed from the path in the first place, and you're the one who needs to get back on it. Um, when I talk about taking action and walking the walk to turn yourself around, um, and I talk about using the strength that God gives you, and casting your burdens onto Him, you'll notice it's a balance. You know, it's a thing. These things feed off of each other. You talk to God, God takes your crap away and gives you strength, and then you change. These things work in tandem. They don't overlap, and one is not more important than the other. Um, and it's not like you do. I mean, I should say it is like you do one before the other, but in the way you don't, um, because you own up to yourself and you say, "I need to change." And then you go to God, and then He helps you change. So in a way, you're doing like one part before the other, and they're all mixing. Anyway, um, gosh, I don't know what else to say. I think I'm just gonna call it here because I think my point got across pretty well. Um, Drew is blasting being as an ocean right now, so I'm like, part of me is over there and part of me is in here. So, um, yeah, I think that wraps up entry one that I can think of. Uh, in case you haven't been able to tell, I don't really script these videos out. Basically, what I do is I have an idea, and then I kind of fill in that idea a little bit before I record the video, and then as I record the video, I will fill in the rest on the fly, so to speak, because planning's just overrated. I don't know. Um, so a lot of and then I'll just do takes. Like I'll record a video and then be like, I didn't like that, and then I'll just do it again. It's really time consuming, and maybe one day I'll uh, uh, do something different. But right now I'm kind of okay with this. Anyway, um, I'm really kind of I'm stoked to see where this series goes. This whole Pizza Ministries thing. Um, see what sort of outreach you can get. Um, and if it changes one person, then that'd be pretty rad. Um, I mean, obviously, I want more than that, but if one person sees this video or some subsequent video and goes, "Yeah, those guys have a point," that's I can deal with that. I can dig that. Um, so, in the meantime, if you have any comments, questions, whatever, put them below. If you want to talk to me, leave a comment. We'll work it out. I will talk to you. Or if you want to talk to Drew, or because he smells better, I don't know. Leave a comment. We'll work it out. Sorry, being as an ocean. Have a good week. Pizza.